What is up, everybody? Drew Shula here, your first ever episode of the Wild Snap of Football show. I'm joined here with a few newcomers, a few guys you know already. As you know, me and Toby have been going on shows here at Bleacher Brothers for a bit. We've been on the Stella Report. We've been with Boss AJ on his show, the Bleacher Brothers show. We got Kevin Straub right here. He's a newcomer. He's been writing some songs.
Ready to talk some football?
Absolutely. We got Toby. You guys know Toby, and we got a newcomer. We got Ruben Zuckerman. But
how we doing?
Living, man. So the Wild Snap, the football show, we're going to be talking mostly NFL, maybe a little college football, because, I give some college football picks, and there's some hot topics revolving around some college football. But, guys, Kevin, let's start with you. How are we doing? What are we looking to talk about today? What's up, everybody?
Doing good. I'm ready to talk about the Jets.
There you are. Toby, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling the same way as Kev. I'm ready to talk about the Jets, man.
Absolutely.
Let's get it started. The Jets, they suck.
Jets suck. But before we start talk about the Jets, there's a team that sucks even more. Miami football Dolphins. Me and Toby, we had the displeasure of going to the game yesterday. The Tua-less Dolphins. They are officially 0-2 on the year in games without Tua. I'm just going to say it. Are they the worst team in the NFL? In my opinion, without Tua, they are. They've scored one touchdown in the last 3 games without Tua, and we already lost Kevin. But it's okay. Yeah. One touchdown in the last 3 games without Tua. Tyler Huntley and Kevin is back. We got Kevin back. But Tyler Huntley clearly was not that guy last night. Absolutely brutal. Toby, let's start with you. You were there. How did that game go?
That was the most boring football game I've ever been to in my life. And I mean, we go to FAU, man. We see some pretty bad football, but seeing Tyler Huntley just, 5 illegal shifts or something? It's just, it was boring. It was just really disappointing football out of Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins. Just not what you expect to see at all when you go see Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, Waddle. Not what you expect at all.
No, not at all. How are we feeling, Ruben?
I was at a cigar lounge last night, and I really didn't watch the full game, but I saw the Dolphins finally scored in the final 2 minutes. Looked up, it was 31-12. So
yeah. So absolutely brutal. The players. Did you guys see Tyreek Hill spazzing out on the sideline, kind of crashing out behind Mike McDaniel? I saw a replay of it. Looked pretty ugly, but the best part, Tyreek has no right to say anything because Tyreek Hill is all we lost. You guys see that big fumble, backward pass? I can't believe Tyreek. He was lazy there. He decided not to jump on the ball. He's getting paid second most in the NFL, maybe third most behind CD and Justin Jefferson. He's supposed to be considered the game's best wide receiver, and he's fumbling, and he's not jumping on the ball, lazy football. So I do not respect that at all. We got Kevin back. Kevin.
I had some technical difficulties.
Also in the Dolphins game last night. Kevin, thoughts on the Dolphins game last night before we move on?
I thought it was pretty bad. I thought Tyler Huntley looked a little better as the game went on, but still obviously wasn't enough. Defense didn't look great, especially run defense. They were speeding, they were running all over him. So definitely got to get back to the lab in Miami.
They have a lot to work on. The issue, they won't be getting their quarterback back until week 8, the earliest. So that's the issue right there. The season's over. I'm glad. I will admit that. We will move on. Hopefully at this point. Currently, we hold the number 2 pick in the NFL draft. I wonder where that pick will go to. But the season's over. As you said, we couldn't defend the run. The Dolphins. The worst part is that their running backs are Tony Pollard and Ty J. Spears. They aren't huge backs. They don't have some monstrous O-line. You know what? You said it a lot, Kevin, last year with the Jets. They're always on the field now. The Dolphins are going 3-and-out all the time. It's a real thing when the defense is on the field all the time. I thought they played pretty well actually, but you know what? They got put in bad situations. They're gassed. Yeah. So not much you could do there. But another hot topic. We're going to move on to Kevin and Toby's favorite team, the New York Jets. Obviously, a stinker loss, an unacceptable loss. Losing at home to the Denver Broncos. If you're the Jets, they want to win the AFC East. That was the Jets' goal. They want to win the AFC East. They want to be in the playoffs. It's hard to do that when you're going to lose to the Denver Broncos at home. My question to you guys. So the first game, they lost a tough one to the Niners. Kind of got smoked in that one. AJ, man, AJ, really testing the limits. Maybe being associated with Diddy is better than being a Dolphins fan. But that was a question he asked me. However, the Jets. So they lost a tough one week one. You know, it wasn't very competitive. Week two, they beat the Titans on the road. Week three, they look great against the Patriots. Panic time, or are the Jets just fine?
I think we're gonna be okay this season, but the bottom line is Rob Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett are just not good coaches. You can't score 6 points against the Broncos. It's embarrassing. And wide receivers, Garrett Wilson can't get open. You got to play Surtain's arguably the best cornerback in football, so cut him some slack, but it's unacceptable stuff.
Absolutely. And then Toby, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with Kev. Saleh, Hackett, they're both cooked. I think. I mean, even if we make the playoffs and say, you know, maybe if we win a game in the playoffs, they're not absolutely cooked. But I mean, I hate personally watching the Jets play with these guys as the coaching staff. I hate that Alan Lazard and Tyler Conklin are getting more receptions than Garrett Wilson. It seems like on just a game-to-game basis. Garrett Wilson, and I know, you know, Zuck loves this, but Garrett Wilson's just not producing at all. Like, it's just really – I hate watching Jets football when just our good players aren't the ones that actually are playing good. And I think we'll be fine, but it's annoying watching a team lose to such bad teams and play down to their competition like this.
It's not even that I don't like that I like when Garrett Wilson doesn't do it. Like, he's on my fantasy team. I root for the guy. And, like, it's just I had a teaser this weekend. I did a New York special. Giants plus 11, Jets minus 1.5. I didn't even need the Jets to cover. Just win by like 2-3 points, man. You're at home. You're playing the Broncos. I mean, this is sad. Seriously, this is sorry at this point because it's just like, what are we doing? And I agree with Kevin. The head coaches are terrible. Robert Saleh should have been fired 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's an interesting discussion right there with the Robert Saleh stuff. AJ, no Champions League coverage here. Maybe with Kevin, but not with
Kevin.
Kevin will help you with that. But yeah, and you guys were bringing up the Garrett Wilson stuff, Alan Lazard. One thing I've noticed, and I don't remember if you remember me saying this, but for some reason, it's like a trust thing. Aaron Rodgers, he trusts a receiver. He's going to go to him, and he loves Alan Lazard.
This guy,
he will feed him, and he will throw it to him all the time.
Watching Lazard last year play with Zach Wilson was just horrible. I mean, the guy has dropped issues, not a great route runner. And for whatever reason, when it's Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, he just looks like an actual confident receiver.
Dude, I'm watching Lazard, and he throws up like the guns, and the NFL gives him a flag for that. I mean, what the heck is
I didn't see that because I was watching it back. You guys remember Alan? What's his name? Drake London did the same thing. Got a flag. I'm guessing
she didn't shoot him.
LSU kids get the flags for that too.
Yeah. The finger guns, I feel like that's like a cowboy thing. Like, people have been doing that for forever. It's not like, but like Drake London looked like he was like, airing out the place. That's what the celebration he was doing. But back to the Jets, they dropped that one absolutely rough. But this debate, I've been looking forward to this, and I'll tune in first. Malik Neighbors versus Garrett Wilson. You tell me this 3 weeks ago, I'm like, it's Garrett Wilson. Like, this is no debate. Malik Neighbors is a rookie. He hasn't done anything. Garrett Wilson, probably the easiest breakout candidate in the NFL. If you're talking before the season, now that he has a, Rodgers thrown to him. But you know what? I'm going to say Malik Neighbors is currently better. No bias. Bias aside.
I don't even think this is an argument, though. I mean,
after this week, I really don't think it is much of an argument. I mean, we were talking about this seriously like a couple weeks ago, like arguing about this, and now it's like we're all kind of in agreement on it now.
I mean, Garrett Wilson hasn't had one game over 70 reception yards, dude.
Kevin, I want you to go first, and I'll come at it. But give me your take. Right.
pre-draft, I said Malik Neighbors is better than Marvin Harrison. I still stand on that. I think Malik Neighbors is great. He's having an insane season, but pump the brakes on that yet. Garrett Wilson is a special player. Had a rough start, but he's gonna be fine. And yeah,
You know what? I don't disagree. Garrett Wilson is a special plair.
let's
Malik
not
Neighbors.
forget he had 1,100 yards with Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle throwing the football. He's done a lot with not much, and I think to write him off through 4 games with Aaron Rodgers is not fair, especially played 4 pretty good defenses.
Maybe Ruben will, but I won't write off Garrett Wilson. However, we're talking special players. I might switch my take where Malik Neighbors might be better than Marvin Harrison. I thought Marvin Harrison was the best player in the draft. I thought so decisively. But now that I think about it, like Malik Neighbors, that's like a different type of special. Like when we're talking like the best receivers in the draft the past few years. Let's go to 2020. Okay, so the first one was Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson. Jefferson wasn't the prospect that Malik Neighbors was, but Jefferson, he ended up being obviously the superstar that he is. But I really like CeeDee Lamb that draft too, and Jerry Jeudy. But like besides that, let's go. I remember Jamar Chase. That's a big one. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. I think he's better than all 3 coming out of the draft. Garrett Wilson. Let's see who else was in that draft class. Drake London. I like Neighbors better than all those guys. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you guys are seeing these clips. I remember I used to see it with Justin Fields and like Darnell Mooney, where Darnell Mooney would snap someone's ankles and he'd be wide open, and then Justin Fields would just miss or like not hit the guy.
that's kind of what I expected with Daniel Jones, but he's really complimented Daniel Jones very well, even though Daniel Jones is like a bottom 5, bottom 10 quarterback.
I don't even know like what Garrett Wilson's better than Malik Neighbors at. Like what would he be better than that?
Better than what are you talking about, Zoe?
What is Garrett Wilson better than Malik Neighbors?
You can start with he has better hands because
he just doesn't.
Malik Neighbors has had 2 crucial drops that have quite literally lost the Giants 2 football games. So
without him, we're not even remotely in the game. So there's true, that.
But those 2 moments were game-deciding moments, and he didn't show up. That's just the reality of the situation.
They were 2 huge drops, but where I'm going to agree with Zuck is like, dude, these guys aren't even in the games without. Imagine Malik Neighbors. So let's go back to that draft pick. Let's say they went defense that pick. They went like an edge rusher. They were contemplating going O-line. Like they took someone like Latham or Fashanu or something. The Giants would be the worst team in the NFL. They'd probably be worse than the Dolphins right now. Malik Neighbors is the only dude, like the only real wide receiver on that team. And I stand by that. Is Jalen Hyatt like able to beat like Sauce Gardner off the line? Is he able to beat a Patrick Surtain off the line? Is he able to beat a Trent McDuffie? No. The only guy that can, Malik Neighbors. Like, I can't give the Giants GM Joe Shane enough credit when I say that dude is saving that offense.
I don't even think the Giants are that bad. Honestly, we played except Minnesota. We played every game tough. We played Washington really tough. We didn't have a kicker. We barely lost.
They did play Washington.
3 touchdowns, gave up 0 touchdowns, and lost. That describes the Giants perfectly.
Yeah, I mean the Giants. I don't think they're awful. I think the Dolphins and the Titans are awful.
They're definitely not as bad as advertised, but they're still a bad football team, no doubt.
No, I'm not saying we're good. I'm saying that I think if we play the Jets, it's a dogfight. Yeah, the Jets are terrible, dude.
That's a good one.
That is something we will not be able to find out this year unless it's in the Super Bowl. But let's move on to another team local to the Northeast regions. Well, we're moving to the East, a rival of the Giants. The Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles. They got their butts kicked by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Raymond James Stadium this past Sunday. And my question, Jalen Hurts, what's going on with him? Lane Johnson was out, A.J. Brown was out, Devontae Smith was out. I get that. But Jalen Hurts, even when those guys are in the lineup, he's been pretty rough the last 2 years. Fill me in, Kevin. Help me out.
I feel like every time I'm I'm watching the Eagles. He's taking a bad sack or he's airmailing a ball by 5 or 10 yards. I don't know what he does good anymore besides get pushed 1 yard forward for a touchdown. It's pretty much all he does.
Fair enough. Toby, you got any opinions on it?
I was going to say what Kevin said. The only productive thing he's been doing for Philly the entire season so far is getting pushed a yard into the end zone. But, I mean, I feel like, I'm not even a Jalen Hurts hater necessarily, a couple of years ago, but I'll definitely hop on that now. He's definitely not the guy.
No, not at all. Zuck.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna disagree here. I mean, the guy's a winner. He's been a winner at every level. So you don't just go to the Super Bowl. I get it. They had a great defense, good O-line. You still need a quarterback. So I wouldn't give up on the guy just yet. I mean, he's a freak athlete too. So I totally disagree.
20 quarterbacks take that team to the Super Bowl.
Listen,
Daniel Jones could maybe take that team to the Super Bowl.
Daniel Jones probably would have taken that team to the Super Bowl.
Listen. I'm not. That's here to say, but Jalen Hurts is definitely he's a good quarterback.
Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He was a good quarterback that year. What I'm gonna say is I think they had a super team that year. That defense loaded. Jonathan Gannon the next year, he's a head coach because he was a good DC and that defense was loaded. That offensive line was the best in the NFL. They had two really good receivers, Smith and AJ Brown. They had an awesome tight end. They had good running backs. Their run game was awesome. Where I think Hurts is where he's struggling is because he's too one dimensional. And it worked. And Shane Steichen, he was a good offensive coordinator that year before he got poached, and he went to Indianapolis. But so he was able to maximize it before the league kind of keyed in. But for me, it's I think he's really good at the read option. He's good at throwing the slant ball, the go ball, and he's good at taking off with his legs. I don't think it's a very difficult thing to stop them if you can key in on that stuff. Unless if your D line's going to get bullied, you're not going to win that game. But that's where my opinions on the Eagles are. How do you guys think they're going to finish the rest of the year if Jalen Hurts is playing
I was about to say it is only week 4, so maybe give it to week 10 and you can do a little more assessing.
Well, that's the point of this segment.
I think they could still sneak into the playoffs, but as of right now, they're definitely just fringe playoff team at best, and definitely not doing anything beyond getting there.
Are you guys thinking that it's kind of similar to last year? Remember, they finished the year, I think it was 1-7. They lost a ton of games. They got smoked by the Bucs week 1, the round 1 of the playoffs. How are we feeling? Do you think that's on the horizon? The team are they even better than last year? Are they? I mean, they got a new defensive coordinator.
Don't
but
think so.
Is Vic Fangio that good? I don't know. When I watched them play the Falcons, and I'm seeing Vic Fangio always running his zone coverage, the pass rush isn't getting after them, and Kirk Cousins marches down the field. He's not a clutch quarterback. He never has been, but it looks so easy. It looks
80 yards, 35 seconds.
It took no time. And then, like we were talking about Hurts, he throws the interception right away. He doesn't even give his team a chance. I mean, it reminded me, because we're talking about Vic Fangio. He was the Dolphins defensive coordinator last year. I hate to bring up a traumatic experience for me, but it reminded me of Vic Fangio gave up 15 points in 2 minutes to the Tennessee Titans last year on Monday Night Football for us to lose the game. You could blame the offense for not getting a first down, sure, but shouldn't the defense not give up 15 points in 2 minutes? Maybe there's a defensive issue on that side too. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a bigger issue in Philly rather than just Jalen Hurts. It's the coaching staff too, and I think that's ultimately why they look worse this year and why their season will ultimately be worse this year.
Well, he hasn't had AJ Brown, right, to throw the ball to? Right. So okay, and now his other receiver is hurt. So maybe let the receivers come back, and it will open the field up more.
We'll see.
One could hope, Zuck.
One can hope.
I wouldn't hope. I'm a Giants fan. I'm just realistic with it. They're not a bad football team.
But before we move off the Eagles, we're talking about the coaching staff. One guy we didn't mention, Nick Sirianni. What are your guys' thoughts on that? What are your guys' thoughts on Nick Sirianni? Big Philly guy. What are your thoughts on him?
I think he's safe right now. I mean, he's 2-8 in his last 10 games, and going back to the end of last year, turn the new page this season hasn't gotten any better. So that could be something that the front office will look at. But I think his previous year's success are gonna at least he's gonna have a little bit more leeway than like a guy like Rob Saleh who is on his way out, even if the Jets win 9-10 games, make the playoffs.
Seats warming up, that's for sure. But one more thing before we get to a short little break. We'll wrap up the NFC East a little bit. Besides talking about the Cowboys, there isn't much to talk about them. How about the Washington Commanders? How about Jaden Daniels? How about Dan Quinn? Huge win, huge, 42-14 over the Arizona Cardinals. Jaden Daniels has been unbelievable this year. I remember people were saying, and me included, but I did like Daniels. Just want to make that known. People were saying that it was idiotic that the Washington Commanders took Jaden Daniels over Drake May. There are receipts all over online, and Jaden Daniels has been excellent, excellent. Uh, 42 points against the Arizona Cardinals with a defensive mind coach. Want to know something crazy? It was a little bit of a coming back story for OC Cliff Kingsbury, who was the Arizona Cardinals head coach. He's with Jaden Daniels now, the OC in Washington, and he smoked his former team. Must feel good there. But what are your guys' thoughts on Jaden Daniels, the offense, the Commanders in general? Let me know.
Jaden's exciting. I mean, we saw him at camp before the season started. He was throwing dots to Terry, so that was really cool to see. He's just an exciting player. I mean, we needed like a rookie QB like that, not just like Caleb Williams. We needed like a guy like to just come in and just be just electric to watch on the field, and especially for the Commanders too. So this is pretty refreshing watching them actually like look like a good football team.
Can you say that it could be any better for the Commanders through 4 weeks? I mean, he's not turned the ball over. They're winning games. I think he completed 80% of his passes last week. It was like the highest since like Brady in like 2007. He's just been almost perfect.
I read that they only punted once, too, which is crazy. And yeah, he's great, absolute stud. The thing with him is, can he stay healthy? He's not the biggest. He runs a lot. He takes a lot of hits. How long can that last? But no, he's an absolute stud.
You're right, and specifically, the health concerns. It's always a worry with a mobile quarterback, but it's different when you're a Josh Allen mobile quarterback. When you're a Jalen Hurts mobile quarterback, they have a certain level of thickness and muscle and build to them. Jaden Daniels, he's a very very thin guy. Um, as you said, he's never been great at protecting himself. You guys remember him at LSU, that clip where he got hit and he like spun around like it was a cartoon.
He got helicoptered, right?
That's one of my favorite videos. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, he needs to find a way to stay healthy. That's a big, big thing. And I'm not going to say it, but the last Washington quarterback drafted number 2, that was mobile and very exciting his rookie year, RG3, did not stay healthy. So definitely hoping that is not the case for Jaden Daniels. But that offense in general is it's clicking. There's a big controversy around it online. People are saying, "Oh, they run a college offense," because Cliff Kingsbury was at Texas Tech. He was the head coach there. He ran a lot. He runs a lot of the spread offenses that a lot of Big 12 teams run. But it's working. Like clearly, it's working. And I think it's an awesome offense for Jaden Daniels to play in, and he's got a lot of weapons. One guy that's been awesome is Austin Eckler. Somehow turning his career around. Not that he had a bad career or anything, but it looked like the Washington's squeezing the last bit of juice out of the lemon right now, if you get what I'm saying. And you know what? It's awesome. So the Washington Commanders, they're kicking butt right now. Are they a force in the NFC East? That's the question. I mean, they might be the best team in there. You guys
I
think
think they might get a little reality check soon, but as the way they played, right, like the past 4 weeks, absolutely, especially in a weak division.
Yeah, they're clicking. So give it a little more time.
Yeah, I'm agree with Kevin here. I think a reality check is due very soon, and I still think the Cowboys are the best in the NFC East. So
I don't disagree. The Cowboys, they have a good core. They have a great receiver, good defensive line. They got DBs that can play. They got a quarterback.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
Yeah, they'll be fine. But with that, we're going to go to a quick break. We'll come back in just a few minutes and talk the rest of NFL and a little bit of college football stuff. We'll be right back, guys. Welcome back, everybody. Short break. We got a lot more football talk. NFL stuff is coming to an end soon. So let's talk about, but then we'll do a little college football stuff. Let's go back to we're gonna go back to the AFC now. A little AFC South action. One game I thought was interesting. One storyline I thought was interesting. The Colts have been struggling this year, but you know what they did? They beat the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. But let's be honest, the Steelers they shouldn't have been undefeated. They were not. They're not an awesome team. But you know what? The reason that the Colts beat the Steelers, Joe Flacco came in for Anthony Richardson. He looks smooth. You know, we've talked about the backup quarterback situation for a lot of teams. You know, personally, like Tyler Huntley, not that guy. Skylar Thompson, not that guy. Some teams that got it, you know, the Jets. Tyrod Taylor, he is that guy. And you know what? I think Joe Flacco is that guy. I got a bold take to make. Joe Flacco is better than Anthony Richardson right now. Let's go around. How we feeling? Kevin, let's start with you.
Just when you think you've seen the last of Joe Flacco, he just shows up on a roster, and when somebody goes down, and he's just 302 scores, like he's playing for the Ravens in 2010 again. It's really is crazy to see.
Yeah, no, you won't hear a bad thing about Flacco out of me or Kev's mouth, I don't think. The guy just seems to just not really age when it comes to the play on the field, but it's pretty crazy to watch. And honestly, I agree with you, Shula. I think I think it would be unfair to say that Flacco's worse than Anthony Richardson right now, especially with everything Flacco's done.
Yeah, no, he's definitely better than Anthony Richardson right now. But Anthony Richardson has a lot of talent and potential. The potential and talent we haven't really seen because the guy gets hurt every week. So he's definitely better right now.
Yeah, and Joe Flacco, you know, he's shown the magic the last few years. With the Jets, he was all right. He wasn't awesome. With the Browns, he was awesome. Like last year, oh my gosh, going toe to toe with C.J. Stroud, toe to toe with. I mean, who they played the Jets, right? And they kind of smothered them that year. Who, like the Zach Wilson or like who was it?
It was Joe Flacco made the Jets defense who last year was top 3 look like they were not good at all.
Maybe it's just because Flacco and it doesn't abide to last year, but he is the Steeler killer. You know,
Anthony Richardson, though, his highs are high and his lows are really low. Like that week one back throw, back foot throw he made, it was like
It was
80 yards
disgusting.
in the air, perfectly placed. And then the next drive, he throws in a triple coverage on the 5-yard line for the easiest interception of anybody's career.
Yeah, he plays a highlight reel football. I don't think Flacco is better right now. I stand on that. I stand on that opinion. He plays losing football too. It's the truth. If you're gonna throw the ball 70 yards and Michael Pittman comes down, that's awesome. But the next few plays, you can't sail an easy out route and then chuck the ball in the end zone where there's 3 defenders and the safety picks it off. It's not winning football. So Joe Flacco came in for him due to an injury, but Anthony Richardson, he's got to figure it out soon. You don't have that long in the NFL anymore. Let's see who's moved on really quick. Justin Fields was moved on really quick. Zach Wilson really quick. Sam Darnold really
Trey
quick.
Lance count?
Trey Lance really quick.
49ers moved on from Trey Lance in
I
one quarter of football.
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, Josh Rosen really quick. Oh my goodness. You don't have very long anymore in the NFL, where you used to have forever. Unless you're the Packers, then you could draft Jordan Love and he'll just sit for 3 years and they're fine with that. But it worked.
They always have good quarterbacks.
Maybe
I've
that's
seen more quarterbacks in 6 games than the Packers have in 30 years.
Tell me about it. Maybe the Michael Penix play was the right play then for the Falcons. Possible. You guys like that pick back when that happened, Michael Penix?
It was just a complete shock.
It was shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's too old. He's too old though.
He is old.
Especially for a team that definitely needs more pieces to be competitive. That's just they must really leave him as a prospect.
One thing I laughed about, one of my favorite songs, good party song, good stadium song, swag surfing. Kirk Cousins goes in the in the press conference after, and someone asks, they asked what he thought about the rivalry because it was his first time playing the Falcons Saints game. He goes, "Yeah, I looked around and everyone in the stands is moving back and forth and they're swagging and surfing." And I thought that was really cool. I thought that I love Kirk when he speaks. You guys watch the Quarterback Show on Netflix?
I didn't get around to watching it now.
That show's pretty good. Yeah, I know Toby did, and yeah, he has so many quotes and he's so interesting. It's like there aren't many quarterbacks that are willing to do that, and they definitely don't talk like him. So, but back to business. Jaguars 0-4. Did you expect that? I didn't.
I didn't expect 0-4, but I expected best 2-2, 1-3 realistically because I'm not a fan of the roster at all. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is good at all. I never really saw it. I mean, all I heard coming out of college was Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, best pop prospect ever. I mean, as a Jets fan, I wanted him because we were 0-13 supposed to have the first overall pick. It didn't happen. I'm almost not happy we got Zach Wilson, but happy that I'm not stuck watching Trevor Lawrence every Sunday.
Oh yeah. What's funny too is that I went to the Dolphins Jaguars game and I thought the Jaguars looked good. I get the Dolphins are no powerhouse, but they're no pushover when Tua plays. Their defense is scrappy. The Jaguars look good, like straight up until they fumbled, and then they crumbled. Nice rhyme there. But until they fumbled, they were looking really good. They were pounding the rock. This dude Snoop Connor came out of nowhere. Snoop Connor taking Travis Etienne's spot. Travis Etienne, a former first-round NFL draft pick. Maybe that's why they stink. They're spending first-round draft picks on backup running backs. So there's an answer there. Trayvon. Here you go. You got it.
I feel like this year we've seen a lot more running back tandems rather than like the Niners. They go 99% workload for CMC. Even Jets with Braylon Allen, they've used him a lot. He scored 2 touchdowns against the Titans.
He's awesome.
Tony Pollard, Spears, not the 2 best, but they complement each other pretty well. Even Commanders, Austin Eckler was perceived as a top 10 running back at least the last 5 years. They bring him in, throw him behind Brian Robinson. He's catching screens, doing what he usually does, and it's definitely worked out for them.
You know what? You have to though in the NFL. It's like there's so many carries to go around. You can't throw the ball every play. Running the ball is up right now.
Yeah.
People say it's a passing league, but they're running the ball more than they have in a very long time. It's just it's what needs to happen. Maybe the quarterback plays. I've seen some people say that the quarterback play is the lowest it's ever been, and I don't disagree. I'm seeing Will Levis throw these stupid interceptions. I'm seeing Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be awesome, and he's throwing all these interceptions. Anthony Richardson. These guys are playing really bad quarterback play, and running the ball is up right now. And Daniel Jones, Ruben's guy. You know he's not playing great football either. But you know who's been playing really bad football? Deshaun Watson, and I'm here for it.
Terrible.
Deshaun is the worst. The Browns are the worst. I wrote today, I bet the GM and head coach Kevin Stefanski wish they got those picks and that money back because that might be the worst trade of all time.
It was a 230 guaranteed.
It's awful. I mean, you need give me an accounting major to tell me how to get out of that because I don't know how to.
You just
A finance guy, help me with that. Yeah, the Browns they stink, and I love it. The Giants beat the Browns. That was one of those upset picks I took. So very happy about that. But
I saw something today that the current win total for the Browns is 5.5 wins. When I think they opened the season at I think it was around 8.5. It just shows how bad they are.
you know what? That division is weird
Tough
though.
division always. The AFC North is always competitive. They've been fighting for like a couple years, but this year,
You know what? The Steelers will go 9-8 because that's what they do. The Steelers will go 9-8, but they won't be good in the playoffs because they're fine with just being slightly above 500 to keep that stupid record going for Mike Tomlin. But how about the Bengals? They were 0-3 before this past Sunday. What the hell is going on in Cincinnati, Ruben? Tell me all about your boy Joe Burrow.
I mean, yeah, I'm a big Joe Burrow guy, and they have gotten off to a terrible start, but the Bengals always start off slow. Like, this is a thing they do every year, so I'm not really concerned. I mean, they were in every game, and they happened to lose. I mean, they played the Chiefs very tough. They happened to lose that on a penalty call. Same way they lost on another penalty call to go to the Super Bowl a few years ago. And obviously last week was their first win. That was a must-win, obviously. But, I mean, I think they'll be fine. I still think they make the playoffs. That division's really good. I think the Ravens win the division. I think the Bengals still finish a few games over 500, squeak into the playoffs. And then once he gets in the playoffs, I mean, Joe Burrow in the playoffs is a scary sight. I know a lot of people don't like Joe Burrow, especially a few people on here. But, I mean, he's great. He's like Jalen Hurts. He wins at every level. So you can't knock him. Still a top 5 quarterback, in my opinion.
I'll knock him. I'll say that. We're going to have this debate now because we did over text. Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow. Kevin, we're going to start with you. Who do you want right now?
I'm taking Kyler Murray every single time. I don't think it's close. It's more accurate.
When Kyler Murray can win a playoff game,
escape sacks alone, I'm taking Joe
when
Burrow.
Kyler Murray can win a playoff game, maybe you have a point there. Maybe.
He's played for the Cardinals.
Right now, if you're not taking Kyler over Joe Burrow right now, bro. I mean, Joe Burrow can't hold a water bottle, dude.
Oh, right. I didn't know Joe Burrow played on both sides of the football. So I didn't know he played on. He can't stop. If the defense can't stop a team, that's not his fault. He's been playing fine these last few games.
It's ironic, though, Ruben, you say that, but his defense was the one that carried him to the Super Bowl.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude,
He can't hold a football right.
Was it Ruben?
Yeah, and Kyler Murray has great defenses in Arizona his whole career.
Dude, Kyler Murray hasn't won a playoff game.
I hate that argument because winning is a team stat. It's not a quarterback stat. It's not an
Okay, but you have to factor that into how good a quarterback is. You factor that in.
Yeah, you factor it in, but it can't be what you base everything on. Like Jalen Hurts won at college. Oh wow, he played at Alabama and Oklahoma. Like they don't have 95 stars every year. Like every quarterback that goes to those schools wins.
Well, maybe if you're a good quarterback, right? You would go to those schools, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like Kyler Murray did. He also went to Oklahoma.
I'm not saying Kyler Murray's bad. I'm saying he's not close to Joe Burrow. Dude.
Joe Burrow was a loser at Ohio State. maybe he was a loser. And then
Oh my lord!
no, but I will say this: Joe Burrow awesome that year at LSU 2019. Joe Burrow is the best season of all time. Ruben, that's where you have a point. But once we get to the NFL, I remember that playoff run. Joe
Oh no, he
I
he
wonder
only
who Joe
went to
Burrow was
the
throwing to.
AFC Championship game the next year, but just that playoff run.
Joe Burrow, that playoff run. 3 interceptions against Tennessee. 3 interceptions. His defense picked off Ryan Tannehill 3 times to win him the game. They picked off Derek Carr to win the game in the red zone. That defense showed up that year.
So when they played the Chiefs, he played bad or not? Can you read me his stats for that game because he balled out?
I can. Let's do it. What year was that?
Go read me his stats for that. In the most important game of his life, beats the Chiefs, goes to a Super Bowl in his rookie year.
No, it was not his rookie year. It was his
Well, technically, it's his rookie year.
No.
He didn't play. He didn't play his first year. He played 4 games.
Chet Holmgren.
He had 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pretty good game. Okay, that's
Dude,
good.
that's good. In the AFC Championship is a good game.
Dude, I could look up Joe Burrow's playoff stats right now and watch.
No,
Dude, you're not gonna be happy. His career post, he's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in 7 games. But that's less than 2 a game.
Bro, that's
That's like 20 games.
And those stats aren't going to be updated for at least probably 2 or 3 years because they're not going back.
they're making the playoffs this year.
Line
Dude.
and that defense.
We could talk stats all day long. You know what my thing is with Joe Burrow? And people, maybe I'm a little biased. I'm a Dolphins fan. Tua gets overhated. People say that anyone could throw to Waddle and Hill and then they'll just take the ball 70 yards. Did you guys watch his touchdown to Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow's, against the Carolina Panthers?
It
That was
wasn't
everybody.
receiver within 20 yards of him. There wasn't a cornerback or safety within 20 yards of him.
Maybe we're thinking of a different one, but there was quite literally a reporter that asked, "Did you have baby oil on?" He broke like 5 tackles.
Oh no!
The Jamar
Dude,
Chase,
the Bengals at full health, like T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, like all those guys, good O-line. They're one of the best teams in football. Again, they basically almost beat the Chiefs, right? They were right in that game. They lose a heartbreaker. Then they lose to Washington, a game they should win. The Bengals are a good team. Much better than the Jets.
do you think that the
I
Bengals?
knew that was coming. I knew that was
Do you
coming.
think the Bengals? How do you think they do in the AFC North then, Zuck? Do you think they're behind?
I told you. I think it's a battle. Listen, they still haven't even played most of their division games, right? So they still play the Ravens. They still play they still play the Steelers. Still play the Browns. I mean, they're still playing a lot of their conference. They could win the division still. They're not. They're 2 games below 500. They win the next 2. They're 3-3, and you don't know what happens. They'll get hot. They get hot every year.
I'm gonna say best case scenario is 9-8 for the Bengals.
It's
You know,
I kind of like 9-8. You know what? Because they're the Jaguars. I also think they're not a known for team. They're bad.
I agree. I was about to say that on that topic. I agree.
Yeah. I still think the Jaguars win some football games.
The Jaguars are a good team. They've been in every game except the Bills game, and they happen to lose it.
They're a fumble away in that Dolphins game from winning that one. Maybe that changes their season too. But the Bengals, yeah, I mean, they find a way to lose the crappy games though, which is weird. You're right. They're in the Arrowhead game, but they're losing to some bad teams besides that.
Yeah, and that's on the coach, honestly, because when they play in big games, they're ready to play. They're always in the game. They're never getting blown out. It's when they're playing, the Redskins. So they should be blowing them out. That shouldn't even be a close game. In a must-win game at home.
Who's the Redskins?
I mean, the Commanders. I don't call them the Commanders. Come on.
I call them the Commanders. That's their name.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Luck doesn't do that. But time to move off that topic because my question to you guys, the Minnesota Vikings are 4-0. You know who their starting quarterback is? Former Jets legend, Sam Darnold.
Only Sam Darnold could go to the Vikings on a 1-year minimum and start 4-0, beat the Niners. It's just a classic. Jets can't develop quarterbacks. They're cursed. Just exactly. You couldn't write it in a book.
I was gonna say it. You already said it for me. It's it's a cursed franchise. What do you expect? I mean,
you know what's funny? It's always been Lions, Jets, Browns, but now the Lions might break that. Like the Lions might be the best team in the league right now. So
Jets are up.
is it just the Jets and Browns right now? Because I think the Browns are cursed. Come on, they traded for Watson, and look at them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always tell Kevin, Joe Namath, he needs to die before the Jets can be good again. So, yeah, they cursed. They sold his soul for the one Super Bowl.
He did it in 1967.
Yeah, the soul was sold.
Wait, Joe. But Vikings, back to them. I said it today in my power rankings. I think Kevin O'Connell might be the best coach in football. So he brings in Brian Flores to man down that defense. That defense is playing lights out right now. They gave up a lot of points, Jordan Love, but they forced 3 interceptions on him. Byron Murphy, the cornerback, had one. I'm seeing Andrew Van Ginkel's all over the field for them, former Dolphin, missed that man. Flores is bringing that blitz, but also, more importantly, look at that offense. Sam Darnold is playing better than Kirk did when Kirk was in Minnesota, and everyone loved Kirk. Kirk's getting paid a ton now. Maybe it's a Kevin O'Connell thing. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Definitely playing a big factor, and that offensive line has been probably second best in football.
It's up there.
Darnold's seeing the field really well. It's a QB friendly system. They are definitely contenders.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they just look so well rounded.
It's crazy when a quarterback has time to actually throw the ball. They can throw the ball. He never had that with the Jets. Goes to all these other teams, never plays because he's the backup. Now gets an actual chance. I mean, the Vikings are a really good football team. I want to see the Vikings play like the Lions, which is I think it's in 2 games. They play the Lions. That's going to be I want to see a real division game from the Vikings. They're great, but it's early. 4 games, it's early. Are they the best team in football? No. I think it's Detroit or the Ravens.
Yeah, that's a good topic. I think the Vikings are the best team in football. It's certainly in the conversation. Do I think they're the best?
Good thing for Jets fans. That is next week. Jets play the Vikings. That is a trap game for the Vikings.
Oh, another loss for the Jets, but it is a trap game.
Kevin, how do you think that game's going to go then? What are your thoughts? You think Rodgers is knocking off the Vikings, giving them their first loss?
It's tough to read. Thank you, AJ. Jets are going to crush Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers.
Off man AJ says that.
He's been beating the Vikings for 15 years.
You know what? So if we go back to that Jets game against Denver, I get the crap weather and all that. The Broncos sent the blitz so much. They sent the blitz. They made Rodgers get that ball out fast, and it worked. They couldn't score a touchdown. The Vikings are going to bring the blitz. We'll see if Nathaniel Hackett has the answers this week. Because my thoughts on him. I'm not a fan of him. I never have been. I think it was a complete move to strictly bring in one player and one player only. And you know what? They got that player. So maybe it was worth it all in the end. But is it worth it if he doesn't have an answer to what defenses are going to present? Is it worth it? I think on that blitz, we'll see.
I'm going off Drew. I don't even think that he's that good. He's 40. I think if you bring Tom Brady out of retirement right now, you put him on the Jets. They're a better team. I don't even think it's close.
That's a bold take.
Not a bold take.
I don't think
Not
that's
a bold take. Huh?
He hasn't played football in 3 years.
I don't think that matters, dude. I think he could suit up and still be a lot better than most people.
Better than Tyler Huntley.
Dude, he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Better than Aaron Rodgers. Stop.
Dude, Aaron Rodgers is so old. He's so frail.
You're acting like Brady's not.
Aaron Rodgers is 40. You're saying he's old. Tom Brady is 48 right now.
Yeah, but the older Brady gets, he just looks younger. It's some weird genetic modified thing with him.
Oh, it's his
No,
diet.
he has money, bro. He gets work done.
Crazy Tom Brady diet, but he's 47 right now.
This is what goes through the mind of Ruben Zuckerman.
Dude.
Aaron Rodgers is too old. So a quarterback 8 years older and 3 years removed from the game is better right now.
Yeah, 100%. Aaron Rodgers is terrible. Yeah, he is.
Yep.
Terrible.
Rodgers having a good year. You know what my thing is too?
Daniel Jones is your starting quarterback, and you're telling me that Aaron Rodgers is good. All right.
You know what though? I think that as much as maybe on paper it looks all right, I really don't think he's not throwing to anybody like special. Like Garrett Wilson's kind of like he's good. I guess you can consider him special, but like Mike Williams, he's not really a separator. Alan Lazard is just awful. He's
Mike Williams a couple of weeks he's been on a snap count. He's starting to play a little more.
yeah.
I'm going to give him a couple of weeks before I start to really critique his game.
I know a little off topic here, but do the Jets even make the playoffs? Like, are they even going to make the playoffs?
Didn't make the playoffs.
The
Will
AFC,
we? Probably not. Because
Better.
we're the Jets.
the AFC is not hard to make the playoffs in this year. The Dolphins had a
Going
chance.
into the season, I thought the AFC was going to be much more competitive. Like, I'm honestly surprised. I mean, the Bengals, they're just not good. Joe Burrow's not good. The Dolphins, I thought they were going to be in the picture, but injuries happened. It's kind of like the Jets last year when Rodgers went down. But there's been a lot of surprises, so the door's definitely open.
If the Jets don't make a playoffs, Saleh has written the writings on the wall. If he can't make the playoffs this year, he better be gone, or else I don't know what the Jets owner's doing. He must clearly hate winning. But speaking of one man, I wanted to bring up. So the Lions, they might have the best offense in the NFL right now. You guys see Jared Goff 18 for 18 Monday Night Football. He didn't have one incompletion. What a day for Jared Goff. His offense coordinator, Ben Johnson, has passed up a few head coaching opportunities in the past. I think he's head coach next year. I'll give you a few teams, top of my list. Tell me where you think he fits in well. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they might get rid of Doug Peterson. Going to Jacksonville isn't the worst situation ever. They have supposedly people claim he's good. I don't know. If anyone can make him actually good, probably Ben Johnson can. Since the Cleveland Browns, their head coach has got to be gone after this monstrosity. I mean, I don't think Stefanski's awful, but
yeah, I don't think he's a bad head coach though.
Yeah, but just bringing in it was his choice. The head coach has a choice. He wanted that quarterback. I think that's where he messed up. How about the Cincinnati Bengals? If let's say not even Joe Burrow, just their head coach. They were 0-3 last week. They were 0-3 last week. Let's say they win 6-7 games. Their head coach is gone. Imagine him going to Cincinnati, and then I had the Philadelphia Eagles. If the Eagles continue to lose, they will fire Nick Sirianni. I think they have to. The city will be begging for it. Where do you guys think Ben Johnson fits in? Because I think he's the top head coaching hire next offseason.
I'm not too familiar with him. Where's he?
The offensive coordinator of the Lions.
Oh yeah, I'm sure with that offense.
Yeah,
you could find a gig.
Where do you like him? Because you know what that offense looks like.
Well, if the Jets move on from Saleh, which they should, they need an offensive-minded. There's enough with the defensive coaches.
I can't even take it seriously. He's gonna want to go to the Jets to head coach Aaron Rodgers, who's 40.
Why not?
Because who would want to do that?
He's gonna go to the Giants.
Yeah. The Giants are a quarterback away from being a really good team.
Oh, there it is.
If I'm him, I'm picking Philly, dude.
Dude, it's true. I'm thinking the Bengals. Listen, out of all the teams you named, Joe Burrow's the best.
Daniel Jones good or bad? Because he's good.
No, he's not good. He's not good. He's not good.
You're just throwing curveballs.
Listen.
You gotta make up your mind.
Out of all the teams, this guy would probably want to go to the Bengals because Joe Burrow's the best quarterback out of all the teams you named.
He definitely wouldn't want Saquon, AJ Brown, and all those guys. But
Joe Burrow is absolutely not the best quarterback on all those teams. But
okay.
That is not a bad take though to go into Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, they might have an opening. So we'll see. But we got one more topic. Very excited about this one. Heisman. This is one of the best college football seasons I can remember. This season's awesome. I think that 2019 season when LSU toe to toe with Texas and Alabama and Justin Fields, Ohio State, Trevor Lawrence, that was an awesome year. This year we got the 12-team playoff, meaning there's going to be one G5 auto bid. There's going to be 4 conference champions plus the G5 conference champion, whatever the best is. So maybe it's Tulane. Maybe Memphis bounces back off a tough loss off Navy. It's definitely not USF anymore.
potentially.
But the 12-team playoff means you have to be, if you're not a G5, you have to be one of the 11 best teams. So, for example, Georgia and Alabama just played last week. Awesome game. Both teams will very likely, be in the college football playoff. I'll go last. Ruben, we're gonna go counterclockwise now. Ruben, give me your Heisman pick right now. Who would you give it to and why?
All right, so the Heisman, in my opinion, goes to the most outstanding player in college football. So, in my opinion, it's not even a debate. It's Travis Hunter. I mean, the guy plays both sides of the field. The closest thing ever to him was, Charles Woodson. But I mean, this guy, not only is he playing both sides, he's playing both sides like really well. I mean, he's forcing fumbles on defense. He's coming up with like a pick every game, and he's scoring touchdowns every game. So I mean, no one's ever seen this before. It's truly amazing. I don't even think it's a debate. Now the guy on Boise State, I mean, he's a freak. The stats he's putting up, but still, you got to give it to Travis Hunter. I mean, he's playing both sides of the ball. It's like an Otani situation. He's just gonna win it every year because it's like, how can you not?
Good take. Good take. I don't fully disagree, but Toby, give me yours.
So I think Travis Hunter, he's a great player. Obviously, he's going to be one of probably the top two for this award. I think if Ashton Ginty keeps up this production, there's no way you can't give him this award. Their QB has 800 passing yards. He has 845 rushing yards.
4 games.
He averages 10.3 yards a carry, and they played teams like Oregon. They played Washington State, who's like not the greatest team, but they're not playing like Wagner. They're not playing like bum schools. They're playing like decent, like old like P4 schools. And I mean, he probably won't keep up this production. I don't think it's really sustainable, obviously, to rush for like a first down every single carry. But I mean, if he does, how could you not give him this? I mean, even with Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball, I don't see how you don't give him the award.
I got to agree with Toby on this one. I mean, when was the last time you heard of a running back with 4 touchdowns in 2 games within the first 4 weeks? It's just ridiculous what he's doing. Up until last week, Cam Ward was definitely top of the ladder, but throw 3 interceptions in a game you should win by 3 scores. He's going to need to bounce back a little bit, but I'd say the top 2 for the award right now are definitely Ginty and Hunter.
All good takes. Don't disagree with any of them. However, and I really wish I wrote this out, but I said it to people, and I really wish they remember. I want to keep my credibility. It's one of my favorite takes. The man won a huge game last week, Jalen Milroe. It always goes to one of the best teams. Jalen Milroe has 10 passing touchdowns on the year, 1 interception, 5th highest QBR. The dude's awesome, like straight up. The dude's got 8 rushing touchdowns on the year. So what's that? 18 touchdowns to 1 interception on probably the second best team in the nation. Jalen Milroe's killing it, and I'm happy for him. You want to know why? Because I'm not an Alabama fan, but I remember there's a lot of people saying they are going to be so bad now that Saban's gone. I think Kalen DeBoer is a winner, and he's proven it because he just beat Georgia, and Georgia was considered not unbeatable, but like the best team in the country. So I'm giving mine to Jalen Milroe. I'm going to stick with my preseason take. Glad that, and as of right now, he might be the number 1 pick in the draft. I know Cam Ward's been killing it too. But Jalen Milroe, name to watch out for, everybody. But that's about all the time we got, guys. Thanks for joining, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your viewing experience here at the Wild Snap, a football show. I'm Drew Shula. Thank you, Kevin, for joining. Toby for producing.
Last thing, shout out the 17-year-old Ryan Williams for just putting on a show.
Oh, absolutely.
Georgia.
Absolutely. But, boys, it was a pleasure, everyone. Thank you for joining in. The Wild Snap, we're out.